first, on the right hand side, the Gothic one is where we'll finish the walking tour. And I told you earlier that you don't get lost in Heidelberg, but maybe you might get lost at the castle. Now ahead of us, above us actually on the left hand side, a big house, Moor House, actually two of them. This is an outpost of Pepperdine University of Malibu. In Malibu, they look down to the ocean. Here they look down to the Neckar Valley, the Rhine Valley. So it's one of the universities that aren't part of the universities. Pepperdine, Schiller University, private technological university, and that high school that trains primary school teachers on top of the public university. That's about, not quite, about 40,000 students. Now, we'll soon be downtown. We'll reach that square, and that'll be the meeting point, the meeting place. When you leave Heidelberg at 12:30. Now on the right hand side, you see after the house, you might sort of see behind the trees, tombstones, and this is the old Jewish cemetery, maintained by children of a school of the old city. It's part of the education. In Germany, people, especially children, are told the real truth about the terrible Nazi times. Believe me, you hear every day on the radio, on the TV, read on the press, something about Nazism, persecutions, Holocaust, etc. The post-war generation has done a great job discovering the truth and telling the truth to their people and to the whole world about the 6 million Jews, about 600,000 travelers, and we call them gypsies today, the many homosexuals, resistance, witnesses of Jehovah, or disabled people. Like here, at least 20 or 25 disabled kids look like. And we'll see that the post-war generation has done a great job. And I can compare with my country, France, where the French police did a dirty job during the war and raided the Jews and other people. In France, the Jewish community had to wait very late, actually, the late 90s, until France officially apologized at last to their Jewish community for what France had done to them. But that started in Germany much earlier. That started actually in the late 60s. Now remember, I've said a word about the Republic of Weimar earlier. This street is named after the first president, Friedrich Ebert, who was the first elected president and the first important politician who didn't belong to the rich classes of the society. Now on the right hand side, look at the square. That house used to be the College of Chemical Studies in the 19th century. We all know the name of a professor who taught here 48 or 49 years long. If you remember what we used during chemistry classes when we wanted to heat something, Bunsen. That's it, Bunsen burner, Robert Bunsen is the name that the whole world knows. And by the way, and this sounds much more serious, he's the one who developed spectral analysis, and that's much more serious. Now, the left-hand side, that square, is named after the first Chancellor of the Federal Republic, Konrad Adenauer, who managed to create a democracy, a real democracy, on the ruins of Nazism. A democracy that today works very well and really protects its people. And by the way, Adenauer managed something great along with Charles de Gaulle, his French colleague. both of them managed to have the French and the Germans reconciliated after centuries of wars since Louis XIV, Napoleon, the French-Prussian War, 2 world wars. And thanks to them today we love each other, almost. On the right hand side this is the west end of Main Street that will be pedestrian in 15 minutes. On the left hand side this is Bismarck Square. Bismarck, the Iron Chancellor who managed, you see on the left hand side now, who managed to unite Germany in 1871, created the Second Empire. We the French don't like him much. He stands for nationalism and war, but actually the Germans really respect him for having united Germany and for having published the first social laws in the world in the 1880s. So health insurance, pensions and accident insurance as early as the 1880s. Now on the right hand side, and this is the classical secondary school. Classical means that they all take Latin and English at 10, and 2 years later they can take French or French and Greek. Only about 8% of them do Greek, but they all read Latin. Latin is really enjoying a revival in Germany, and this is really, I find it's good news. Now, after those wars, there was a need, let's say after the Second World War, a real need to do something so that people could get to know each other in Europe. So they started twinnings between French and German, British and German, Italian, German, American and German cities and villages. Just about every village here in Germany is twinned with some village somewhere in Europe or in America. Just after that building here, there's a small square. It's named after a town in southern France, Montpellier. I mean here. Montpellier that claims having the oldest medical college in the world, and Montpellier is twinned with Heidelberg, just like Cambridge, UK, is twinned with Heidelberg for obvious reasons, because of the university. Now those walls on the right hand side are among the oldest walls in Heidelberg. That used to be the princely arsenal, and today inside is a very good student restaurant. And now on the right hand side you see a small square with 3 trees, plane trees, with 12 stones with lights for the 12 tribes of Israel. This is where the synagogue used to be until November 1938, when it was destroyed by the Nazis, during what they called the Crystal Night. So you don't say that anymore. Crystal Night is positive, it's a Nazi expression. So today you speak of the night of the pogrom, and that square is a memorial square where many ceremonies take place. Now the old stone bridge is very high above the water. Not so much because of ships, much more because of floods. This bridge here, the 9th bridge here, 7 bridges were just swept away by floods. 7 out of 9. What about the 8th one? Come on. The French. Very good. Now look up the left hand side, the worst flood ever here. February 1784, over 9 meters, over 30 feet above the normal level of water. There was just 1 year after one of the worst volcanic eruptions that took place in Iceland that provoked climate changes for several years. People were starving. Red snow in summer, no summer actually. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are reaching Neckarmünzplatz. the 4th, exactly. So the buses will be here, let's say at 20 past 12, more or less. Leaving time, please, 12:30 here. I'll take you to Market Square. I show you how to come back here. Believe me, it's very easy. I know you won't get lost. Actually, 7 are missing, so this, 8 actually. That's more than 10%. I get a problem. Now Isabel is going to meet them. So we'll meet outside as soon as Zdeněk has finished maneuvering, and we...
Items in the